We're now being joined by Dr. Abeokuta, and our focus this time is to talk about peace in the world, because September 21st, 2024 is the World Peace Day, and that is a day that has been dedicated to focus more on how we can achieve peace in view of all the conflicts that are ongoing. Don't forget, Ukraine-Russia war is still there. It started since February 2023, and it has not come to an end. So, you're welcome to the program, Dr. Abeokuta.
Thank you so much. Nice being here.
All right.
We are glad to have you, Dr. Kuneye. Now, let's talk about the significance of the day and why we celebrate this day every year. These days in Nigeria, we take it so important that you must celebrate. People who are stakeholders in that field must come together or talk about it. So let's talk about the significance and why we must celebrate.
Well, the significance of the day is to actually draw attention of the world to the devastating effects of conflicts to the world. Don't forget that conflict is somehow very destructive. Conflicts has actually affected the world generally in terms of, even when you talk about food supply, hunger, in terms of environmental development, and in terms of the advancement of the people. Conflicts destroys, and is such that should be prevented at all times. So the World Peace Day is just to draw attention to the fact that everything must be done to prevent conflicts or war, and that humanity is actually the one suffering from some of these developments.
Okay. Cheers.
But one would wonder that if you're saying everything should be done, humanly possible to have peace all over the world, the stakeholders in this aspect, why has this been so difficult? Even the United Nations that set aside this day, September 21st of every year, why has it been so difficult to bring about peace? It has eluded the world so much that something drastic has to be done.
Interesting. But then you must look at one factor concerning conflicts across the world, and that factor is interest. Take a look at some of the developments across the world today in terms of conflicts. You talk about Russia, Ukraine. You talk about what is going on in Gaza. You talk about even Sudan, and even very close to us here in the Sahel, where you have Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. The situation has not actually been positive, but then the interest of the parties involved also matter. This interest sort of makes it somehow very difficult for resolving these conflicts as soon as possible, or the way you envisage. Actually, when that of Ukraine, Russia started, nobody envisaged that it will be as long as this. Similarly, on October 7, when there was that attack in Gaza against Israel, by Hamas, nobody actually thought that that war could be prolonged to this extent, although that war had always been there. But nobody knew that Israel will prolong it to this extent. But the interest of the parties involved, what happened in most cases is the fact that these parties involved also have a network of supporters. And this also gets to the United Nations, where you have the superpowers. And the superpowers also have interest in some of these developments across the world. As a result, while the United Nations is trying to see how these conflicts are resolved, the interests are also trying to flex muscles. And you should also be aware of the fact that some of these interests too, also they are interested in some economic gains. They are interested also in territorial expansion. They are interested in even superiority perspective concerning their rebels. And so, while they try as much as possible, well, the UN continue to strive to ensure that these conflicts are resolved. Then army cannot stop these people or something like that. But you ask, do they have some powers behind them? That is a major challenge.
Okay.
Well, you now ask, which powers are behind the Boko Haram? You may not even believe that some of the powers could even be at the local system here, the environment. Similarly, international backing could also be there. There are some countries that also take advantage of the situation because they see it as an opportunity to explore or exploit the environment. And so similarly, the gains that some of these powers actually benefit makes it somehow difficult for achieving the success or the peace. But why the Peace Day is being observed is just the fact that attention must be drawn to this particular challenge, because while you are looking at your own benefits, either economically, politically, or otherwise, the fact remains that people are actually suffering. Many people or millions of people are displaced across the world. Many people are also been killed. Many destruction had actually taken place in terms of infrastructure, facilities, and the environment. And don't forget, some of these wars also affect climate change. And so the fact that this must also be considered, because you even see financial input in terms of funding to ensure that these things actually get out. So they must also consider some of these, because their own people too are being affected. Take a look at Russia, Ukraine. Nobody knew that Ukraine can be so stubborn and say, yeah, they want to withstand Russia. When the war started, it was to say that within 2-3 days, Russia will overrun Ukraine. But then, the fact remains that the backing of the superpowers for Ukraine sort of made it very necessary for Ukraine to actually still stand. But there have been destructions in Ukraine. There have also been destructions in Russia. And so, why would Russia still go ahead and be fighting when there have been deaths, when there have been destruction in some of the... So what the world is just trying to do, or to say, what the UN is just trying to say, is that the destruction that a country like Russia is experiencing is not to the benefit of the people. As a result, they must actually come to the table to dialogue.
Okay, Dr. Okuneye, there is a scenario that is playing out now, and Africa seems or appears to be the battlefield. A lot of people have targeted that these superpowers, these so-called superpowers in the world, are trying to repartition Africa. They are jostling to have, like you observe, economic gains, political gains. So some of them, a lot of them are jostling to have a control of a particular area in Africa now, which either though have been controlled by a particular superpower. So with that in mind, and what is playing out, we made reference to the Sahel, where Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger are also they pulled out of ECOWAS. And even Burkina Faso has gone ahead to have the international passport, not recognizing ECOWAS as being as being the overall body here. So with that in mind, is Africa not going to be also witness further underdevelopment because of these so-called interests?
Well, it's unfortunate for Africa because it is not only through takeovers you have mentioned that these foreign interests are coming in. You take a look at even some economic issue. I think the major challenge is that economic issue. The fact remains that in terms of poverty range, Africa is not experiencing the best. But what led us to this particular situation? The foreign interest too had also played a major part. Apart from the foreign interest, you also know that what is our leadership like? Our leadership recruitment has been so terrible that the people emerging as our leaders do not even have the capability, and so they are also self-centered and also see what they are also going to benefit. And as a result, they look at what is the best option for them to actually improve in terms of their wealth or in terms of their possessions. And as a result, it is a big problem. Concerning the Sahel region, it's unfortunate that ECOWAS could not actually mediate in resolving the conflicts in these areas. The military men that had taken over also have their interest being influenced by the international community. So this is where self-centeredness is coming in terms of what is the interest for me. How do I also benefit? Because they see themselves occupying positions and also jettisoning the opportunity of a peaceful environment as a very major opportunity for the individual. And except we actually come to reality that we need a very strong bonding, except we understand the fact that these people are only playing our intelligence, except we come out to say that we can be independent, except we actually come out to say that there is unity, there's power in unity, because ECOWAS has always been a very strong force at ensuring peace in the region. Don't forget the money that Nigeria expended on ensuring peace in Liberia, Sierra Leone, and other parts of the region. Don't forget the input in terms of resources, and don't forget how Nigeria was able to influence changes within this particular environment for the well-being of the people generally. So except something is done concerning this leadership, although the leadership will also tell you that they are also running away from slavery, as others take a look at what France has been doing to the French nations, controlling their resources and also making sure that only little going back to them. At the end of the day, they are impoverished.
But they have never talked about the policy of assimilation, which allowed them to migrate to France and become citizens over there.
What has that got to do?
They don't struggle for visa to get to France.
You recall that many years ago, Nigeria used to be a center of attraction, even to Europeans. So what is wrong in our staying at our own country and progressing and prospering? What is so big concerning traveling to Europe for any changes? What is the big deal in traveling to Europe? If you are comfortable here and everything is okay, nobody needs to go there.
Okay, let us come back. Let us come home now and see what are the activities lined up for the day. Though it's just a day celebration. What is the theme for this year's celebration, so that the world can know where we're heading to?
Well, so far we have a society that is concentrating on ensuring that peace is well maintained within Nigeria, and draw the attention of government to this. And a number of activities have been lined up. Even in Ogun State, there are seminars, there are work. We've been having work over the years just to sort of draw attention and draw the attention of the people to this. And there are other activities at national level to sort of make sure that we are well effective in terms of our
in terms of making impact?
Making impact, yes. Okay. Ensuring that we actually carry the people along and also do some preventive method. So this year, so far, we are following the UN theme for the celebration. And so we go ahead with that.
Okay, I'll take you back to the resolving conflict mechanism that you mentioned earlier. How effective is peace treaties? We know that when things like that come up, nations will begin to form themselves into group, and they will want to talk to other warring countries to shed their swords. What impact do you think this kind of a thing will have on peace generally? Peace treaties, diplomatic negotiations, how effective are all of these in resolving conflicts?
Well, treaties are signed as a way of, as part of negotiation for warring parties or conflict affected countries, as a way to sort of make the parties involved to observe peace. And such treaties are signed to also ensure that where there are lapses, there is a need for that reference. The fact that you can always just draw the attention of the warring parties to some of this and resolving such conflicts. Treaties are very powerful tools for ensuring peace because many countries have actually followed. But where there are misunderstanding, there could be a bit of clashes.
Okay.
But then, notwithstanding, the mediation team can always come in to ensure that they maintain that peace to sort of control the situation.
Okay. Then how possible is we looking at the cultural differences now, bringing it down home, bringing it down to Africa? There are cultural differences sometimes that will lead to some war events. How do we mend these cultural differences so that we can have peace? If we're talking about peace, it should start from home. When we're talking about peace, it should start from individual, not looking at the cultural differences or the language barriers or some other things that you might think is bringing out this war.
Well, one of the major challenges to peaceful coexistence is the cultural differences. And it is one major challenge, especially when it comes to Africa. And even when you talk about Nigeria, it is one major challenge. But then there is what we call preventive diplomacy. Through the preventive diplomacy, you can actually facilitate dialogue, interaction. You can use different tools to achieve this. You see sports is a very good tool through which we can actually facilitate peace, where you have ethnic challenges or or cultural issues and those stuff. Apart from sports, you can always have a festival, a festival to sort of bring people together. There was a time that Ogtv was having a drum festival. In the drum festival, you see people coming from Benin Republic, you see people coming from different parts of the world, and you see people coming from Ijebu, coming from Yewa, coming from even Egba, the different culture. They come together. They will realize that the power behind drumming is entertainment, joyful location, and those stuff. And with that, there could always be that bonding and understanding. And there are occasions that you can also bring about a conference, of which take a look at, the Nigerian National Assembly is also a tool that could be used to sort of facilitate a better understanding of the differences between Nigerians. Similarly, some of these regional bodies set up, like the ECOWAS and those stuff, are also set up to sort of bring people together and identify lapses and ensuring better cohesion and living together as one.
Okay, coincidentally, with all that you have said, there are perfect proposals that can achieve peace anytime, any day. But unfortunately for us, particularly in Nigeria, religion and politics are two great weapons now that is in the front burner, dividing Nigerians the more. I could remember some years back, And even up to today, in any Yoruba family, you will find the three major religions. People that are Christian, Muslim, and traditionalists. And we all coexist without even anybody raising any eyebrow. Could you say that the level of consciousness now, we talk about those in Burkina Faso, how France has that developed them and the likes of that. So can we say the level of consciousness among our people now is greatly responsible for that, and will that not permanently erode peace?
Well, that's a very big question, because each time I look at the Nigerian situation, I always pity this country. Whether we like it or not, we must actually free ourselves from colonial mentalism. We must actually be conscious of the fact that we are supposed to be one. We are not supposed to be divided. We are supposed to also promote that unity that is supposed to bring us together. Religion. Religion is a very big problem to Nigeria. It's a very big problem to Africa. And then, while we take religion as very, very, very important and very necessary, you will discover that the people that brought the religion to our land are actually not taking it the way we are taking it. You can just imagine, recently I was watching a school report and I saw some students dressing somehow. You can even see in some parts of Nigeria, some people are fighting that you should be allowing their children to be dressing like this. You ask the question, what is wrong with our dressing? What is wrong with our culture? But the mentality is a major problem. It is what is affecting us politically too. The fact that we allow some of these people, and don't forget, they are even being funded. What we fail to realize is that some of these organizations are being funded. Some of these people who call themselves religious leaders are making money from such, because some people are out there funding to create crisis, and some of them are benefiting some of the people who are called leaders. At the end of the day, the people fighting are the ones losing. Some people will say that I will fight because of this, to achieve this, because my religion is this and that. But God, in His infinite mercies, does not even see you from a particular religion. It is your character, your behavior, your obedience, your approach. But some people will tell you that if you did not do this, you are going to hell. If you don't do that, you are not going to make it to heaven. Then when you now ask, are you saying that millions of people who belong to other religions across the world are all going to hell? You see, the need for Africa to sort of be conscious of the need the fact that they must free themselves from some of these religious antics, and even it's just as you say, it's political, just as I said earlier, the issue of interest, the individual. Some of those people call themselves political leaders only want to use the people to achieve their selfish interest. And so is religion. The moment we actually free ourselves and come to think about our unity, our social well-being, they need to understand ourselves. Where do we get it wrong? Do you know that when I told a Muslim friend that, do you know that most of the things you talk about in Islam are in the Old Testament of the Bible? She said, no, it's not possible. I said, okay, start doing this.
Okay, as a peace builder, are you optimistic Nigeria will get back on the right track of achieving peace?
And how do we teach future leaders on our peace building?
No. There is a need for us to actually communicate. You see, communication is very essential. It's the sage, was it Dr. Shatai Shilari, who said that knowledge is power and ignorance is something else. We need for us to actually allow our people to be knowledgeable concerning development, concerning advancement, concerning the environment, concerning love, concerning tolerance. It is very essential. Tolerance is very essential.
All right. Okay, Mr. Dr. Ademolu Okuneye, this is how far we can go. We want to appreciate you for finding time to share all these inputs with us, and particularly our guests, our viewers out there. Dr. Ademolu Okuneye is a retired Deputy Director, News and Current Affairs from NTA, but currently lectures at the Christian University in Abeokuta here. We want to appreciate you, and he's a peace advocate, peace builder, somebody who is so passionate about having peace spread right from the home to the society, and that is him there. So we thank you once again for finding time with us. I remain today's show, okay? And for my colleague
Charity James, we'll see you again next week, God willing, with all our packages from Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and the Yoruba version will come Tuesday and